Me again. I'm down here at the camp after dark. Got the fire going. Anyway, we've had another mass shooting in the last couple of days. This was in a church out in Texas. And on social media, every other outlet I've been seeing, you've had people on the left blaming the right, people on the right blaming the left. And nothing's getting done except a bunch of finger pointing. And it doesn't solve any solution or bring about any solution to any type problem, except ignite useless political debate. Now, political debate's good whenever you're in Congress or when you're discussing issues, but when you're trying to deal with an active shooter or the immediate aftermath, that's when you need to put your political differences aside. This incident I'm talking about was a small church in Sutherland, Texas. Over 25 people, including the shooter, died. And people are trying to say, well, he was with Antifa, he was with the neo-Nazis, he was with this, he was a communist, he was, I don't know what the hell he was. He was a bad man with bad intentions. And he entered a church house, of all things, and shot it up and killed a lot of people. From what I understand, what actually ended that was a good guy with a gun that had enough guts to put a stop to it. We've run into a problem in society, and I guess it started back in the 70s with some of these hippies wanting a kinder, gentler world. Well, I'm going to explain this to you, snowflake. That doesn't always happen. The reality is, regardless of their political ideology, there are bad people in this world who will do bad things. That's simply the truth of it. Am I worried about their politics or what their religious beliefs are? No. I know that a bad man is trying to kill good people. We've had the Las Vegas shootings. We've had an attack at another church in Tennessee. We had the attack on a church in Charlotte. And people are quick to point their fingers at people and say, hey, they did this wrong, they did that wrong, that's the problem. Nobody's done a thing. You know, if we use shooting in Charlotte, white supremacists wanting to start a race war, comes in there and shoots the place up. Kills 8 people, including the preacher. I don't care if this is a black church, if this is a white church. It doesn't matter. there's not a heck of a lot worse than you can do than attack people that have assembled in a house of worship. Be it a synagogue, you're Jewish, or whatever. When you go there to try to spend time with God and learn about Him is the best way you understand. Now, I can't speak of every state in the United States, but I can say this: in Florida, we are allowed to carry firearms in a church, concealed within the law. I make one request out of a lot of people I talk to in the aftermath of these shootings. I know everybody is not inclined to carry a gun or any other type weapon. But the request that I generally try to make to people is this: hey, take a first aid course. Because while you may have some moral opposition, even in the gravest extremes, to take a life, I don't know of any religious or moral doctrine that says you can't save a life. So, my recommendation, number one, if you don't do anything else, learn basic first aid. My second thing, if you can legally do so, arm yourself. Get enough training where you can be proficient with whatever you arm yourself with. Be it martial arts training, an edged weapon, a kubotan, or a firearm. Some people are absolutely morally opposed to carrying a firearm. But there's nothing saying that they can't study some form of martial arts, even if it's in the most basic form, to protect themselves or to protect others. Now, in this country, we're guaranteed in the United States under the federal Constitution, Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. That's for the purpose of protecting ourselves. That right is recognized also in the Florida Constitution. Good men also have a moral responsibility to protect others when they can do so. Oh yeah, that's interesting. And that's probably going to enrage some hippies. I said, yes, you have a right. You also have a responsibility. Another thing I like to just drive myself crazy with is a lot of people want to say, well, they should do this, they should do that. Who the hell is they? When you say that, you need to look into a mirror and see what the hell you're doing. Because a lot of people saying they should have no clue who they is. They is you. Now, I've pretty well laid the cards on the table. I've done told you, you have a responsibility. You know, Jesus himself, if you're church-going folks, he told us 2,000 years ago, love your neighbor. Means if they have a need, means you need to look after it, particularly if it's somebody that you're in the church house with when a bad thing happens. Somebody that you're close to, that you're at a public event with when a bad event happens. Yeah, I'm probably going to tick some people off, because now I've said, yes, you can no longer sit around and be complacent. You're going to have to be active. That means something as simple as making sure there's a first aid kit on hand. Making sure fire extinguishers are charged. Because, hey, an active shooter isn't the only dangerous thing in this world. You've got fires, you've got floods, you've got natural disasters. Complacency, that's what gets people killed needlessly. You know, I've got a trauma kit that I can put in the cargo pocket of my shorts for stopping severe bleeding. 4 by 4 inches and about 2 inches thick. About the size of a man's wallet. On several occasions it's been more than useful. My plan is to offer concealed weapons classes for church groups, the membership in general, at a reduced price if we can get them together as a group. This is not just an act of charity, this is an act of business and feasibility of trying to get some bigger groups together where I can, you know, teach a larger class. So I don't want anybody saying, hey, you're making money off of this. Yes, I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to make a living and establish a business. And I'm trying to do this in such a way where I can keep the prices reasonable, where the average person can afford this type of training. In addition to that, I've also been working on developing a curriculum for a training class that will show you how to set up a security team. It can be used in churches, any type venue where you'd have need for it. There will be firearms training involved, emergency communications, first aid, showing how to set up an infrastructure and how to post people up, how to make use of the resources you have available. And I'm going to discuss that in an upcoming video. But in the meantime, I hope everybody that is inclined to will get some type of firearms training. I recommend just about everybody, regardless of your age, size, skill level, whatever, takes a first aid class. Well, at the moment, that's what I've got for you. So I'm going to say later on, and I'll bring you an update on how the curriculum develops later. Later on.